We've had a few discussions on the Business Breakfast recently about real estate, mainly about professionalism and ethics in the real estate industry. Listeners have been telling us about real estate listings that weren't, the old bait and switch, agents that didn't seem interested in even renting or selling property. And it's an interesting discussion to be having at this time, because whether or not you believe that rents are falling and prices are falling, and there's some separate debate to be had about that, it does seem that the industry is in an interesting time, and we could question whether or not professionalism should be rising. So we've got an expert in to talk to us about the state of the industry. Majdal Musa is a legal consultant and instructor at the Dubai Real Estate Institute. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And I must say, 4001 is the number to text if you want to join in this conversation. We will be taking questions. You can also download our free Messenger app. Shall we start off, Majdal, by talking about the rental model that we have here, because this is something that a lot of people have been commenting on the show recently, questioning whether or not it helps or hinders the industry, where tenants are paying agency fees rather than maybe the other way around, rather than landlords paying them.
Well, I myself, when I first came to Dubai, I was surprised about this system, because where I come from in Chicago, it is the landlord or the seller that pays the commission, because they're the ones who are making money off of the transaction. However, if you go to places like New York City, for example, India, they do have the tenants paying as well. So this is just the system that was adopted here in the UAE.
Do you think it has an effect on the market?
I'm not an economist to conduct a study and see what the actual effect on the marketplace would be. However, I don't think it has much of an effect, because in the end, the residents need a place to live. So they just view this commission as part of the expenses of renting. Now, if the law were to change and a law were introduced to say that the landlord had to pay the commission, or the culture were to change overnight, I think that the landlords would react merely by increasing the initial amount of rent to cover the expense of the commission.
I know I was surprised, not surprised because I've lived here before, but I was reminded when I moved back, because of course in New Zealand it's the same as it is for you in Chicago. The fees are paid by the body that's kind of earning the money. I think where people find it a little bit hard to swallow is where they feel the agent hasn't done an awful lot of work in terms of earning their 5%. Ali has just texted in to say, morning guys, regarding this discussion, I'd like to ask why I have to pay 5% to a broker who doesn't even come to show me the apartment, but simply says the apartment's open. If you want to, go and have a look, and then come to our office and sign the contract. Do you think that this is fair, given they didn't even bother to come and show me the place?
Well, you know what? I had that experience myself when I was looking for apartments a few years ago. Same thing. Either they said the key is with security or the door is open, let yourself in. And I asked them, what am I going to pay you commission for? And ultimately, I went with the property where the broker actually showed up to the viewing. So that is part of being professional, is show up to your viewings. That's part of your job as a broker.
On the other side of the fence, though, I've spoken recently to some brokers who've talk to me about the way that 5% then gets broken down. If they get sort of, I don't know, maybe your 5% is 5,000, 6,000 dirhams, 50%, possibly more of that goes to the agency. We might think they're earning big money commission, but for one rental property, they might be ending up with 2,000 dirhams.
Exactly. There is usually some sort of a split between the company and the brokers themselves.
How would you rate the real estate market as a whole at the moment in terms of professionalism?
I think overall it's improving. We have to keep in mind that it's still an emerging market. That's always something that I tell the brokers when they're complaining about certain aspects of the market, is it is still emerging. Yes, we see outside of our windows these big, amazing buildings, but it is still a work in progress. We do have a good foundation in place. We just need to build off of that. And I believe that the marketplace itself, as well as the government, is working on things.
The one thing I have, though, when I hear the sort of emerging market argument in defence of the way things are, is I think, well, if we're new at all of this, surely this is a really good chance to just do everything right from the beginning.
Correct. But you have to remember, Dubai also has certain challenges that other places don't have. For example, we do have a very transient population. So people aren't thinking very long term here. Some people are just trying to make their money and get in and get out. So we do have that extra challenge.
Are there any practices in the market that you're concerned about?
Some of the practices, like cold calling, for example, which has been a huge topic lately as well, and RERA has been cracking down on brokers. There are a lot of brokers who ask me, well, what should we do to get business if we can't cold call? Now, in places like the US and UK, they haven't been able to cold call for years because of these no-call lists. Yet they somehow get business because they network, they go to events, etc. So it does take work and it takes time to build up business, but there are other ways of going about it.
I'm having a look at a really long text that has just come in, actually. But one of the points that our listener is making is talking about the listing system and asking whether or not we might benefit for some more rules around that. People listing properties that they don't have owner approval for. And you can always kind of tell which ones those are, because there are pictures of the outside of the building, there's pictures of the swimming pool, there's not necessarily pictures of the inside of the flat. And so therefore you might have one flat listed with about 6 or 7 different agents, half of which actually are not in touch with the owner yet at all. They'll call up when they get someone interested. Should we have some rules around that, do you think?
Oh, of course, and there are rules. And as we know, the brokers are regulated by the Land Department through their regulatory agency, or RERA as we all know it. And they do have a broker's code of ethics. And actually, these fake or baiting listings are a clear violation of the code of ethics. And if a broker is caught using these fake listings, then they can be penalized 50,000 dirhams for them. And in fact, when they are caught, they are penalized.
What does it take for them to get caught, though? Because I have spoken to a broker in the last couple of weeks, so I wasn't entirely sure by the end of the phone call that they actually had the listing they were talking about. I mean, to be fair, they may have just been trying to upsell me on the phone, but they didn't seem particularly interested in the actual listing, the very cheap listing that I had phoned about. I mean, does it take people dobbing them in as it is?
So actually what's happening is now the Land Department is very concerned with these fake listings as well, and they've been penalizing some of these property search sites for allowing the fake listings to be posted. And they've recently come up with a list of 6 property portals that they've deemed as trustworthy. And those 6 portals are Property Finder, Property Wi-Fi, Realopedia, Master Key, Idea Prodigy, and Wiser. And the intention is to eventually link it either to eMart or to the Dubai Brokers app that the Land Department has produced. So it will make it easier for the potential tenants or buyers to feel comfortable that the listings are verified.
What should be happening when it comes to renewals? We've had a couple of texts in about this. Rohan's texted in to say that his building manager says that he has to pay 3,000 dirhams as a brokerage fee, even though he's moving flats within his building. No broker involved. He was already in there, as it were.
Well, in general, the renewal fees are limited. So RERA has made statements before that they have to be reasonable. Now, they didn't define what reasonable means, but it seems that anything between about 500 to maybe a maximum of 1,000 dirhams would be considered a reasonable fee.
Is there not, Clinton's pointed this out, which is very interesting, is there not a conflict of interest if the agent receives a percentage of the final negotiated rent? Because then he doesn't have a lot of incentive to help the tenant negotiate rent downwards.
Yes. Well, and again, this is part of the system, and this is how it's done here. So, but yes, I see the conflict of interest in that. However, this is the system that we're currently using.
Before we start talking about what to look for in a broker, we've had a text in from Danny who has said, could you please tell us the trusted sites for home rental again?
Okay, sure. I'll repeat them. It's Property Finder, Property Wi-Fi, Realopedia, Master Key, Idea Prodigy, and Wiser.
And these have been signed off by the Dubai Land Department?
Correct. This is their list of trustworthy sites.
Now, you've got your own idea about trustworthiness, haven't you? How would you recommend someone who is looking to either rent a flat out or rent a place to live goes about choosing a broker? How do you get a good one?
Well, first and foremost, of course, the most important thing is to make sure that they are RERA certified. So how do you do that? You check for their RERA ID, or you can go on the Land Department website or on the Dubai Brokers app and confirm that they are in fact licensed.
So this is the companies will have paid the, was it $5 million deposit that they need to pay to get into the business in the first place?
No, those are the property management companies that can lease and manage other people's property that have paid the $5 million.
And how do you know that each individual broker within an agency is actually licensed?
So again, you can check for their RERA ID. That's the easiest thing to do. Or
Are
you
they
go
all happy
to
about
the website.
providing that?
They should be if they are licensed. They should have no problem with it, and they're supposed to actually be wearing it as per a RERA circular while they're with clients or at the land department.
Talk to us about the other things that you can do when you're selecting a broker.
So one thing you might want to do, there is a new broker ranking system. Now, a caveat, it is only based currently on sales, so it doesn't apply to the leasing companies. And they rank them in order of gold, silver, bronze, and general. As of right now, there are no known gold companies, but most of the more well-known companies are ranked in the silver range. Now, interestingly enough, 40%, so the biggest chunk of that score, is based on their commitment to real estate laws and regulations, that they have no violations or warnings from RERA. Also, the number of transactions and the years of experience, etc. Now, obviously, it's not the end-all and be-all to check these rankings, because these newer companies or the smaller companies are going to have a disadvantage over the bigger and more established companies, but it might be something to consider.
It's interesting that we don't have anyone ranked gold. I mean, should we read into that, or is it just that they're setting the bar really, really high?
I think they're setting the bar very high. So eventually, I'm sure a couple of the bigger companies will be ranked gold, but as of right now, we have only silvers.
Okay, and are we going to see this come out for rental anytime soon, do you think?
It's probably going to be coming soon. There are different factors that need to be applied, so that's why they started with sales first.
Okay. Anything else you'd say to anyone looking for a broker?
Choose somebody who's a specialist in the area that you're looking to either buy or lease in, of course. Also, I would say, don't work with dozens of brokers. So don't go online, find a property you really like, and then just start dialing up every broker that's listed, because that adds to the confusion and it doesn't help you with your property search. So try to use 1 to 3 brokers maximum. Get comfortable with either a company or a broker in particular, and try to use them for your entire transaction. Now, if there's a certain property that you like that's not on their inventory, there are brokers, most brokers do engage other brokers and share commissions with them. So that's not totally out of the question.
This is a very basic question, but what's the difference between the Land Department and RERA?
Actually, so we get asked this all the time. People think they're separate entities. The Land Department is the government agency. It's the mother. And RERA is the regulatory arm of the Land Department, just as the Real Estate Institute is the educational arm and the Rental Dispute Center is the judicial arm. So it's all part of the Land Department.
Having a look, actually, and a couple of people are talking about ongoing relationships with brokers, and certainly coming in from other markets, I know for myself one of the things that really surprised me when I first moved here, still does actually, is the fact that you rent an apartment, and unless they pop up again to ask for renewal fees, that is the end of your relationship with an agent, whereas I know that for me at home, you would still be in touch with them if anything went wrong with the flat, if you had any questions. There'd be property inspections a couple of times a year to make sure that you weren't, I don't know, housing 7 animals or throwing wild parties. We don't seem to get that here.
Well, again, it's about the emerging market. Again, it's about the different cultures that are here in Dubai, because some people come from places where there were no regulations. So again, it's a learning curve, and eventually, hopefully, everybody will get there. But it's about choosing the right broker from the beginning that will establish a relationship with you.
But I understand that you're involved in an organisation looking at property inspections.
Yes. So I'm the Vice President of Legal Affairs for the Middle East Real Estate Inspection Association. And we are trying to encourage buyers to see what the importance of having property inspections is, and also to help the government to set standards for property inspections.
I would have thought that owners would be very keen on property inspections.
Well, again, a lot of owners come from places where property inspections are not the norm. So they don't understand the importance of having it done.
But surely they'd want to, if it was explained to them, they'd want to protect their asset to make sure that it was being kept in good nick.
Some people do and some people don't. Some people don't want to pay the extra expense.
Ah, okay, which is probably the crux of the matter. Do you know what? We've had a brilliant text in from a guy called Sammer who was renting out an apartment on Dubizzle, had a real estate agent contact him and say, hey, I've got an interested tenant. The deal worked out. The agent got his commission, never heard from the commission again. He obviously dealt directly as the landlord with the tenant, as we've just been discussing with, any AC and things, plumbing things, etc. A year later, the agent decides to resurface, contacts the tenant and asks for renewal fees. The bloke who's texted us in has said, no, we don't have a formal agreement with the agent. You've never helped me with anything throughout the year. You don't really represent me, and I've never asked you to contact the tenant. So he kind of gave him his marching papers, but it was good that the tenant actually checked with him, because a lot of people would just pay the renewal fee.
Exactly. Always check. If you're uncertain, always talk directly to the landlord if you're in contact with the landlord and confirm that the agent is still representing them.
So what would you like to see happen in this market? In a perfect world, if you could see 2 or 3 changes come about, what would they be?
I would like to see, obviously, the brokers become more professional. Now, I'm not saying that the brokers in general are not professional. I've met some very professional brokers that I like very much as both professionals and as people.
Yeah, we're not tarring everyone with the same brush here at all.
No.
Absolutely.
And also, obviously, the regulations, they're getting better and stronger, and the land department is still working on new regulations. Just last week, the head of the land department did announce that they are working on new tenancy laws that should be coming out. And I'm aware of other laws that should be coming out soon as well. So, again, we're building on the foundation that we have in place.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Majdal Musa, legal consultant and instructor at the Dubai Real Estate Institute, and for taking all the questions. We still have questions coming in. I'm sorry to those that we haven't managed to get to, and a lot of suggestions as well about how we need a local version of the Board of Realtors, different agreements between owners of property and agents as well. So yes, work to be done. But thank you very much for putting things in perspective for us this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
This morning.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
This morning.
My pleasure. Thank you.